Hey there, my name's Ian Landsman. Usually I'm riding around on the bike talking about whatever I want, so if that's your thing, hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to be changing the drive belt on this Buell XB12. Now there's a lot of good videos out there, a lot of good write-ups. Link below to the write-up that I use. I'm going to try to do this with the bike on the wheels because a lot of the videos have the bikes on a stand, and that's not really good for roadside repair. You're not going to be riding around with a stand with you. And I also wanted to know, will this job be able to be done with just the Buell toolkit? Almost. When I was looking at the tools, I found that the 3 bolts here that you have to loosen, the Allen key that comes in the kit, does not quite fit. You're going to need a 3/16 to get on there. What else are you going to need? For removing the guardrails, the sprocket cover, and loosening up the chin fairing. I already have this done because I'm going to be replacing the 77 connector when I replace my voltage regulator. That's not in the mail yet. Look for that video soon. You'll also need a 1/4 Allen for the bridge support here. I am not going to remove the tensioner. The official manual says to remove the tensioner, but I hear that the new bike belt will be too tight to get the tensioner back on. So what people do is they'll turn the wheel, or what I'm going to try to do is roll the bike to get the belt over the rear sprocket. We'll see how it goes. Well, another interesting thing, the axle removal tool here, one of the tools within the toolkit will actually grab onto it. Whether or not you can get it off on the side of the road, I'm not sure. Yeah, so one more tool that you'll need that's not in the onboard toolkit is a 3/8 Allen to get the pinch bolt out from the axle. If you don't have that, well, you're not going to get the thing apart. Let's start working. Oh, and before I forget, why would you even want to change your belt out? Wouldn't you rather ride it forever, or don't these belts last forever? Well, no. They will snap. I think this is the original belt on my bike. But here's a clip from another video where the guy's riding and just under normal power, the belt snaps and then he's stranded.
There goes the belt. Fun.
If you don't want to be stranded and you don't know the age of the belt on the Buell you have, you ought to replace it. Why am I replacing mine? I've been riding this old belt for about a year. I could probably get a little bit more life out of it, but right up here, when I took this apart to get ready for the voltage regulator coming in, I noticed that there are cracks in the belt. So this belt is going to snap if I don't replace it. Well, will you look at that? A place where the factory toolkit tool works better than the actual honest-to-God tool. Tight space right here. Yeah, that ought to be enough room. When you tighten these back on, they do recommend that you use blue Loctite. Uh-oh. That one's just snafu'd. So the question is, do we absolutely have to loosen this part, or do we just have to loosen this part to get to that bolt? Seeing as I don't want to drill that sucker out as my first choice, I'm going to see if I can get the belt around this guy. But if I can't, we'll just drill that sucker out. We got 2 bolts left, and we'll order that next time we put it in order. So these here are 532. All you have to do is get it loose. Remember, lefty-loosey facing the bolt, so you're going to want to turn this way. Unlike the front axle, which is reverse thread, the rear axle is normal thread. Yeah, I'm not sure I would be able to get that off on the side of the road. You want to turn this about 15 to 20 times until the thick part of the axle is cleared and then the wheel falls a little forward and the belt loses tension. Slide the old belt off. Now we figure out if we really need this piece off or not. Yeah, I think we can finagle around it. So no drilling that out today. Next, compare your old belt to your new belt to make sure it's the same length. This is especially important on the SS and X models, the Ulysses and the long models, which actually have a slightly longer swing arm and tank here, which requires a longer belt. Alright, there's that cracking. I wonder if you can see that. That's why we're replacing the belt, before it snaps. And if you look in a place that doesn't appear to have any cracking, it does actually have cracking. How old is this belt? No way to know, because oh, here are the numbers. Well, it's a genuine Buell belt, which they do not make anymore. The new belt, which came from St. Paul Buell, only says that. It does not have the Buell logo. Make sure to inspect your sprockets. The edges here need to be smooth. If they're sharp, then your new belt's going to get knackered pretty quick. Check your tensioner, make sure it moves freely. You can check your main sprocket for noise and movement. Some people report that they have some squeaky noises there. No good. Alright, well at least this video goes to show something that other videos don't. You do not need to remove this part as they say. But this part does need to come off, and it requires a 532 Allen. Make sure your belt isn't getting pinched under the guard that you've loosened. Alright, it does appear that you can get the new belt on just that way. However, it did eat up a little bit of the belt in some spots. A little scratching there. Not a big deal. You do want to make sure the alignment is right. So before you move on, do go back and forth a little bit, pushing on the belt to get it all the way on that rear sprocket. Looks like it's there, actually, just from a little bit of moving with the hands. Alright, now to tension it up, retighten up the axle. I'll put a torque setting up on the screen now. Alright, you don't need to see me finishing this up. What should you watch for? Your belt is going to be very tight for about 100 miles, so you need to take it easy on the new belt. go slow. You can feel it's pretty tensioned up there. No wheelies. Where should you put blue Loctite? On these 4 bolts, on these 3 bolts, on these 2 bolts if you want. I would not put them on these bolts. The axle, you should put some degreaser on, some grease on there so it doesn't get bound up in the bearings. And don't forget to tighten your pinch bolt here. Very important. Don't want to die on the thing, right? If you had the right tools, you could do this on the side of the road, but I wouldn't want to. I'm glad I had access to all my tools here. Hope this video was helpful to you. Have a good one.